What is up, guys, and welcome to our new and the second episode of the Plantsitting podcast. And before, in the last episode, we talked about the three ways of energy. We talked about that there's the physical sense of energy, then the spiritual sense of energy, and the spiritual can be divided into the outward energies, which we have talked a lot about in the first podcast. And the second part of the spiritual energies is our own self. Where are we heading? What is the road we're on? The first thing that comes to my mind is the so-called soul blueprint theory. It says that there's before a soul incarnates into this realm, lives the life, there's a certain blueprint that soul has agreed on. It contains interactions with other souls, you're forming understandings, and this blueprint is pretty fluid. Like, it's not like you're just living it through, but because of your mind, you have the free will to go through reality as you want, but your heart will know how far you are away from that original blueprint. Are you making the experiences that are meant for you in this incarnation? And depression, no energy, it is oftentimes being very far from that original blueprint.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, that people who are like doing stuff that is clearly not meant for them, and then they let's say they work, and after work they go into their hobby. They go into photography. I'm German, that's why it's sometimes, and or they play with their animal, and they just light up. They're super enthusiastic. You see a spark in their eyes. I've had it myself. It's when I went, for example, if I went into the gym or I talked about certain training muscle groups, supplements, how to reach the goal, I just felt this drive that I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. Whereas when I'm sitting at school, I'm talking about when I was 15, 16, 17, when I sat in school and the teacher was talking about history, it just drained me, yeah. And of course, it played a big role, the factor of the energies in the room, of course, from the first podcast. But it was just not what is useful to me, and I can say it like from the past. Right now, oftentimes it gets more clear when life passes a little bit. If I look back, these classes, they have no meaning at all for my life, and that's what this soul blueprint theory tells you. If you feel like this is draining your energy, this is something that will not have any meaning for you right now or later in life. And therefore, it can be just very elegantly avoided. Elegantly means like you're not saying, oh, I need to get out of here or like this, but you're just conscious of, okay, this is not where I should be. And you're just navigating closer to where you think, or where you feel, better to say, could be better.
It also it's also a good indicator that if you feel very drained, that means you're not following your life path, and that's also a way that the universe is trying to redirect you in a different path. So if you feel like life is so difficult, everything you do is hard, then maybe that's an indicator that you should try something else and try something new with that.
Exactly. It can be there's one thing that can stay against you, in between you and your highest path, which is distraction. Most people are probably not following their highest path because they're not aware of it. If I have the awareness where I should be and where I am, it is very easy to navigate. But if I don't know where I should be, and I don't know that where I am is making me unhappy, then it is pretty simple. Or that is our little Lily. then it is this thing can stay in the way of reaching that true path. And there's a very simple thing that can be done to prevent that, which is actually stillness, silence, and spaciousness. There's Dave, yeah. There's a series, Midnight's Gospels, highly recommended on Netflix. It's like a cartoonish thing, but it's deep on very, very levels. Like it's for, I would say, every grade of like where you are right now, what topics you are dealing with. For everyone, there's something inside. Midnight's Gospel. And there's this one episode with a guy called Dave. And I think that that guy who's like going into these worlds, he has the problem of, is he too reactive?
Or maybe he identifies with his role too much.
I don't remember which episodes were before, that's why, but he had a problem about not having enough clarity. And then he was sent to Dave. And one of my favorite parts in the whole series was he was coming in like to this planet like with a rocket or so, like whoosh. And Dave, he was painting a painting, which was clearly a long time of work. And he just crashed into that painting, everything broken. And he was like,
fascinating or something, right?
Intriguing on so many levels. Yeah. He was just fascinated. And that's the funny thing, because a normal person would just get reactive. You're just, I did all this. But then there comes two things into play, like what is a low vibration gonna do for you? Like anger and fear, it will never be of any benefit for anyone. And we should just let it like this, yeah. And the second thing is, if you are aware that nothing happens out of coincidence, you can't be very mad about that anything happens. It's just like expectations, how you think it should be. Oh, a painting should be drawn like this, and this is how I'm gonna hang it in my living room. But maybe it was really the real artwork was just really the process of drawing and then getting it destroyed, and then the energies arousing inside of yourself. Like life is more than just creating and owning things.
We had to strung up really high.
Oops. Oh, we'll be right back. So I think it's also about giving up control of what you think or feel like, what you think life should look like also.
Exactly, yeah. Expectations on how things are very much impregnated by society growing up. If your mom got angry when there's a glass of water spilled on the table, you will have it inside. And it's a conscious choice then later on if you decide to get angry at these little things, or if you're like intriguing on so many levels. And that is a big factor of energy. If you are doing what you should be doing, and what I can recommend to find out more about what you should be doing, besides going into stillness, is just Google human design, and then you can write there your birth date, the location, and the exact time.
Yes.
And with that, it calculates your human design. And there are like 4 or 5 types: generator, projector. And these types, they generally tell you like what kind of like role energetically you play in this universe. Some, like myself, are more guiding factors. I guide energies, whereas other people, like my girlfriend Andi, is a generator. She generates the energy to drive forward. Like there's like, it's like in a car, you have a wheel for like direction, and you have a motor to move it forward. And with the help of that, plus getting regular stillness, like it can be a walk in nature, and there's like certain types of meditation. I mean, a walk in nature, what I like is not to just label all things as bad, It's a very important factor because I've meditated a long time like this. Thoughts, okay, let them go. Thoughts, let them go. That's a way of meditating to train the self to be present in the moment. Sometimes it's just not the right time to think. Like when I'm, for example, in this podcast, I should just let my being and the things that come to my mind come. And when it's time to think, like for example, if I'm planning my week very vaguely, I've went away from very detailed planning and forcing myself to do things. But when it comes to this, I'm just consciously thinking. So if that should be trained, a normal meditation where you just let the cloud pass is very helpful. It helps also to get stillness, to receive information afterwards. But what I like also is just walking in the woods, for example, or like through a park if you're also living in Dubai, and then just consciously thinking. Thoughts are never coincidentally, like every person attracts their thoughts because it is in some importance to them. And it is then for you to decide consciously if that thought is worth thinking further or not. If it's like, oh, I feel so guilty. I didn't want to attend the family dinner yesterday. Why am I like this? This is, for example, a thought is one is conscious about, not worth thinking further. And then there comes the skill that we practice with a cloud meditation, like letting the thoughts pass. You just let the thought pass. But let's say there comes the idea, oh, I want to do this in my life. And that's I'm right now, me as a projector, a guiding energy. I'm sitting at a computer programming software every day for a company. And I feel miserable, but I don't know why. So I'm going in stillness, and then it comes the thought, maybe this job isn't just for you. What would I do otherwise? I would love to guide people to make them a little bit more conscious, healthy. That sounds good. How can I do that? This is then constructive and conscious thinking. That's like you let the thoughts come, the one you want to let pass, you let pass, and the one you go further and further. And this can be called daydreaming, visualizing. It has many names. Yeah, setting. What was it called in a other book? Reality transurfing. Setting a frame.
Oh yeah, it is a frame.
Yeah, like imagining a certain thing that you intend to arrive, where you intend to arrive. It's very important to have this intention, because everything is in constant change. The body, the cells are dying, living. Everything is in constant change. And the only thing that decides where it's going to is the intention and the energies which are interacting. And what every individual can do is set the right intentions. It doesn't mean an intention is like, I need to put pressure on myself. Oh, I have the intention to get a little more healthy. I need to now do this. So I'm not setting the intention at all. It should be like a thing that I need to do it. It comes all on its own. It's just consciousness. And then, okay, I have the intention. I would like to find something that is more fulfilling to me. And there's the simple rule of Bashar. Many people in the spiritual community knows them. Follow your highest excitement to the point to as long as you can, and with no expectations on the outcome. It's a perfect rule to navigate through life, which means like you are feeling, does this excite me? No. Okay, I'm going to the next thing that would excite me the most. And excitement doesn't mean to like, ooh, it can be just, okay, I want to sit outside, look at the nature. Okay, and then I do it as long as it excites me. And then at some point I'm like, okay, I'm done here. And then I feel drawn to, okay, maybe I'll sit on my work desk and then I'll do the next thing. Yeah, what comes to my mind. You're just following through life, and I'm not expecting anything. So when I'm sitting outside in nature, I'm not expecting to see this kind of sunset or that kind of exciting happening. I'm just doing it. And what was troublesome for me also was the second rule: do it as long as you can, because I have this kind of idealism in me. So when I'm sitting here, this is my highest excitement to this podcast. There's like this back voice in my head that's constantly like checking certain things. Is this really still my highest excitement, or am I going into the living room? Okay, not yet. Okay, then this. So it's like constantly checking. And for me, it was then just slowing down. It's okay where you are. There's just the now, and then when I'm no longer excited, then usually also the next thing just pops up. It doesn't need to be constantly evaluated. That was a big thing to me. And with that awareness, I think in combination with the stillness, one can really navigate through life with a lot of joy. Yeah. Don't expect change overnight. Some things will just take some time. Like you can't listen to this now and then, okay, follow my highest excitement tomorrow and then expect your life to be perfect then. But after a delay, like the reality, how your life is always a reflection of the inside. So if you're listening to this now, you're also implementing. I can guarantee you in a course of 4 months that life will change and you will feel highly energetic if you don't neglect the third part of energy, which is the physical part, and that part we're gonna discuss in the next podcast. I've said enough about this topic, so I will say see you in the next one.
Bye.